Project Esther, page 23. Authoritarian bingo. Ban protests, smear opponents, scare the public, and call it national security. This page outlines how to weaken, isolate, and dismantle organizations it labels as HSOs. It details how social media, local governments, and even communities should treat these groups as threats, deny them platforms, cut off permits for protests, and stigmatize anyone associated with them. Beneath the surface, it's a roadmap for suppressing dissent by branding groups as dangerous, then choking off their ability to exist publicly. It starts with NC 18 through NC 28, which lay out a chilling roadmap. Delegitimize progressive critics, accuse organizations of crime, label them as anti-Semitic or extremist, isolate them online, deny them permits, scare off demonstrators, and frame them as threats to America's way of life. It's about dismantling opposition movements through stigma, censorship, and fear. What the page says, NC 18, NC 28. NC 18, left-wing support for groups tied to Palestine, Hamas caucus, must be seen as unacceptable. NC 19, authorities should gather and use evidence of criminal activity against these groups, HSOs. NC 20, push social media to treat these groups' presence as a liability. NC 21, platforms should refuse to host or promote them. NC 22, social media users should fear affiliation with them. NC 23, create distrust between these groups so they can't organize. NC 24, localities should deny permits for protests or demonstrations. NC 25, potential demonstrators should be scared of being linked to these groups. NC 26, frame these groups as threats to American, especially Jewish, livelihoods. NC 27, frame them as threats to Americans' personal beliefs. NC 28, identify and exploit their critical vulnerabilities. Then it shifts to a method. Systematically expose and dismantle what they define as resources fueling anti-Semitism, using a network-centered approach to root out organizations and individuals they target. What it means. This isn't just about targeting one type of group. It's a playbook for labeling organizations as threats and then using every institution's social media, city governments, employers, communities to isolate and shut them down. It's collective punishment disguised as security. Why it's authoritarian? By design, it erases free speech and the right to organize. If the government or a coalition of powerful actors can simply declare an organization dangerous, then cut off its ability to protest, meet, or even exist online, dissent is no longer tolerated. That's authoritarian control silencing opposition before it can even speak. What it would look like as law. Cities refusing permits for protests they don't like. Social media automatically banning pages, accounts, and content tied to targeted groups. Employers and communities pressured to ostracize people for mere affiliation. Fear spreading where everyday citizens stay silent because they don't want to be branded a threat. A chilling effect across society. Only government-approved speech and organizing survives. Bottom line, this page is not about safety, it's about silencing. It lays out a framework where dissenting voices can be erased by labeling them as dangerous, leaving the government and its allies as the only ones allowed to speak. This completes page 23. If you could please support my content by reposting this video and subscribing to my YouTube in bio, I would greatly appreciate it. Hit that like and follow button for page 24.